Would you walk among the dead if the dead still breathed? The ruins of Olaris stand silent under the pale moon. No birds sing in the scorched trees. No crickets chirp in the dry grass. Thousands of people remain there. They stand in the streets. They sit at stone tables. They hold stone bread. These people are not skeletons. They are statues of white salt. Their eyes look clear. Their skin looks soft. If you touch a cheek, the salt feels warm. Olaris did not fall to fire or sword. A single word broke the kingdom. I spent years searching for the origin of this silence. I am a speaker of secrets. I find the stories others bury. My journey led me to the great library of the South. The air there smells of old paper and rotting leather. I searched the restricted vaults. I found a scroll wrapped in human hair. The parchment felt thin. The ink glowed with a faint blue light. This scroll contained the forbidden spell. The text described a ritual called the Anchor of Silence. I am Kaelin. I carry a heavy burden. I use a magic called echo casting. I touch an object. I see the memories the object holds. Every time I use this gift, I lose a memory of my own. I forgot the face of my mother to learn the location of the library. I forgot my first love to read the scroll. Knowledge demands a price. I took the scroll and fled the library. The High Inquisitors followed me. They wear masks of gold. They carry staves that scream. They want the forbidden spell to stay hidden. They believe some truths destroy the mind. I believe the truth sets us free. I traveled through the gray wastes with my companion. Her name is Jara. Jara speaks with her hands. She lost her voice to a curse years ago. She carries a heavy axe. She protects me while I look into the past. We reached the gates of Olaris at sunset. The white walls loomed over us. The gate stood open. A guard stood at his post. He was made of salt. His hand rested on his sword. His face showed no fear. He looked like he was waiting for a friend. We walked into the city. The silence felt heavy. The silence pressed against my ears like deep water. Jara pointed to the town square. Hundreds of salt statues gathered there. They all faced the royal palace. I saw a child holding a wooden hoop. The hoop was salt. The child was salt. I knelt and touched the child's shoulder. I used my magic. My mind filled with the sound of 1,000 bells. I saw the day the spell took effect. The sky was not dark. The sky was bright gold. The king stood on his balcony. He held the silver scroll. He did not look like a tyrant. He looked like a father who had run out of choices. He spoke the word. The word sounded like a sigh. I felt the memory drain from me. I forgot the name of the village where I was born. The pain in my head felt sharp. I pulled my hand away from the salt child. Jara caught me before I hit the ground. She looked worried. Her eyes asked if the cost was too high. The High Inquisitors arrived at the city gates. Their gold masks caught the dying light. They did not enter the city. They waited outside the walls. They knew the danger of the salt. The High Inquisitors began a chant. The ground shook. They intended to bury Olaris forever. They wanted to hide the sin of the king. Yara and I ran toward the palace. We climbed the marble stairs. We entered the throne room. The king sat on his chair. He was the only person not made of salt. He was a skeleton in fine silk. He held a small glass vial. I realized the truth then. The king did not cast the spell to kill his people. The king cast the spell to save his people. A great plague had entered the city. The plague turned blood into black ink. The plague made people scream until their lungs burst. The king found the Anchor of Silence in a forbidden book. The spell turned living flesh into salt. Salt does not rot. Salt does not bleed. The king froze his people to stop the sickness. The king waited for a cure. He sat on his throne for 300 years. He held the vial of blue liquid. This liquid was the counterspell. The king died before he could use the vial. He died of old age while his kingdom slept in white stone. I reached for the vial. My hands trembled. If I opened the vial, the people would wake up. The plague would also wake. The black ink would flow again. The High Inquisitors knew this. They did not want to protect the secret sect. They wanted to prevent the plague from spreading to the rest of the world. Jara stood by the door. She watched the Inquisitors approach. She raised her axe. She was ready to die to give me a choice. I looked at the salt statues in the square. I saw the family. I saw the lovers. They were frozen in a moment of peace. If they woke, they would die in agony within hours. The king had made a cage of salt to keep them safe from a painful death. I looked at the scroll. I looked at the vial. I understood the final part of the ritual. The anchor of silence required a heart that still beat to hold the weight of the salt. The king had stayed alive as long as he could. When he died, the spell became permanent. The salt statues were no longer people waiting for a cure, the statues were graves. The blue liquid in the vial was not a cure for the plague. The liquid was a way to give the people a peaceful end. The king wanted to let his people rest. He wanted to turn the salt into dust. The High Inquisitors wanted to keep the salt statues as a warning. They wanted the world to fear the forbidden spell. They wanted the power of that fear. I felt a surge of anger. These people were not tools for fear. These people were husbands and wives. These people were children. They deserved to be more than statues in a dead city. The High Inquisitors broke through the palace doors. The leader stepped forward. His mask was shaped like a lion. He told me to put the vial down. He said the world was not ready for the truth. He said the plague would return if I broke the spell. I looked at the skeleton of the king. She nodded at me. She trusted my choice. I did not open the vial. I did not use the counterspell. I used my magic one last time. I touched the silver scroll and the vial at the same time. I pushed all my remaining memories into the object's magnet. I gave up the memory of my father. I gave up the memory of my home. I gave up the memory of my own name. The magic surged through the palace. The blue liquid turned white. The silver paper turned to ash. The salt statues did not wake up. The statues began to glow. The salt turned into light. 1,000 white lights rose from the city streets. The lights drifted into the sky like stars. The bodies of the people were gone. Their souls were finally free from the salt. The plague had nothing left to infect. The black ink could not live in light. The High Inquisitors screamed. They ran toward me. They tried to stop the lights. They were too late. The light blinded them. The light washed over the city. The heavy silence broke. The sound of 1,000 sighs filled the air. The sighs did not sound like pain. The sighs sounded like relief. The people of Olaris were not coming back to life. They were going to a place where the plague could not reach them. I fell to my knees. The world went dark. My mind felt like an empty room. I had no memories left. I was a vessel with no cargo. I woke up in a small tent. Jara sat by the fire. She smiled when she saw me. She gave me a cup of tea. I did not know who she was. I did not know who I was. I looked at my hands. They were covered in white dust. Jara took a piece of charcoal. She wrote a name on a piece of wood. Kaylin. She pointed at me. She wrote her own name. Yara. She pointed at herself. She showed me a small pouch. Inside the pouch was a single grain of glowing salt. This grain was all that remained of Olaris. The city was now a field of empty white dust. The High Inquisitors had fled. They could not control a memory that no longer existed. The world forgot about the lost kingdom. The history books became blank. Only Jara and I knew the truth. I had saved the souls of Olaris, but I had lost myself in the process. Knowledge is a flame. A flame provides light. A flame also burns the hand that holds the lamp. The king of Olaris tried to cheat death. He only managed to delay it. He turned his subjects into stone to save them from a fever. He forgot that a life in stone is not a life at all. I chose to end the story. I chose to let the curtain fall. The truth about the Lost Kingdom is not a secret of power. The truth is a lesson in mercy. We must learn to let go of what we love when the time comes. We cannot freeze the world because we are afraid of the end. The salt is gone, the light is scattered. I am a man without a past, but I have a future. Jara and I will walk the paths of this land. We will find new stories. We will tell the tales of those who cannot speak. The High Inquisitors still search for the silver scroll. They do not know it is ash. They still search for the vial. They do not know it is empty. They are chasing ghosts in a desert of white dust. Let them search. The world is better without the anchor of silence. The world is better when things are allowed to die. I look at the stars at night. I think I see the lights of Olaris dancing in the cold air. I do not remember their names. I do not remember their faces. I feel their peace. That is enough for me. If you find a piece of white salt that glows in the dark, leave it where it lies. Do not try to hear the echoes. Some silences are sacred. Some stories are finished. I will tell you about the frozen sea in my next tale. I will tell you about the ships that sail on ice and the creatures that live beneath the frost. My memory is returning slowly. Every new story I find helps fill the empty rooms of my mind. If you enjoyed this journey, share it with those who seek the light. Tell me in the comments what you would sacrifice for the truth. Would you give up your past to save someone else's future? The road ahead is long. The shadows are growing. We must keep moving before the sun sets. Stay curious, stay brave. The world is full of secrets waiting to be told. I am Kaylin. This was The Truth of Alaris. I will see you on the next path.